Hi, I'm Joseph O'Connor, and this is another video in the series of Coaching the Brain. And we're going to be looking more at goals. Now, behind every goal, there's this feeling of wanting. We want something. I don't know if you've ever stopped a moment and looked and thought, well, what is wanting? What does it feel like? I guess we all know what it feels like to want something. And this can range from just kind of, oh yeah, I quite like this, to I've got to have this, a kind of craving. And what drives wanting? Well, it's mostly the neurotransmitter dopamine. And neurotransmitters are chemicals that allow the signal to move from one neuron to another. And dopamine is a very, very important neurotransmitter. It makes things happen. It's behind motivation and wanting. It helps you to focus on something. And also, in the end, it drives your actions. Going out and actually getting it. So all the way along that pathway, dopamine is active. There are two dopamine pathways in the brain. One is the reward circuit, and this is pretty self-explanatory. We want something because we think it's going to be rewarding. We think it's of value to us in some way or another. But there's another circuit as well, and that goes to the prefrontal cortex, which is the part involved in the planning. So not only is it you want something, but then you've got to start planning how to get it. And basically, when there's dopamine swishing around in your brain, it's telling you this is going to be good. And then the other pathway to the prefrontal cortex goes, and this is how we're going to get it. It's important to remember that something rewarding is not necessarily about pleasure. They are different circuits in the brain. One is about wanting and reward, the other is about the actual pleasure that you get from it. And we've all had experiences where we've wanted something and we've even got it, but we don't get the pleasure from it that we thought we would. Because rewards are about values, and values are about emotion. And that goes to the emotional brain, not the pleasure circuits. So that's an authentic goal, when you want it, when it's backed by values, when you think it's going to be rewarding. Now, a goal, I would say, is not, first of all, other people's goals. If other people want you to get something, that's not going to be your goal. Unless, of course, it involves perhaps a reward from other people. But got to be very careful about setting goals simply on the basis of what other people want. Secondly, if there's some kind of rule attached to it, I should want it, I shouldn't want it, some idea of shoulds, pressure, a rule. There's no reward attached to something you think you should want. It's not an authentic goal. And the other one is a habit. A habit's not an authentic goal either, because a habit is just a thought or an action which runs on its own. And maybe it had a reward attached originally, but now it doesn't. So those are not goals to work on. Work on the authentic goals that you want and that are rewarding to you. And in the next video, we'll take a look at the good old prefrontal cortex and the absolutely essential skill that the prefrontal cortex has and that you need to utilize in order to get the goals. And it's not what you think.